Well, hello to you all. This is Stephen, the man with the hat, and now live from the Black ADA studios in Schweinfurt, Germany, it's Lance. And in the GDA studios in Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's Dave. And this is the Global Detection Adventures, the podcast.
Hello, my friends. I'm Professor Hans von Puppet here today for Stephen, also known as the man with the hat. But he's also a YouTube charity fundraiser for cancer research. Your subscription, thumbs up, comments, and sharing, especially the sharing, will help achieve his goal to raise £50,000 for his wonderful charity. Please subscribe today and start sharing. We need you.
Well, hello everybody out there. This is Lance. I'm coming to you live from the Global Detection Adventure Black ADA Studios in Schweinfurt, Germany. And with me, as always, is my lovely guest.
Oh, hello everybody, Dave D here, high atop of the Lambeau Field atrium, the home of the Green Bay Packers and the GDA studios. And Lance, I got to tell you, I'm going to have a real exciting day. First of all, we get to do the podcast. That's always a plus for me. But right after the podcast, my truck is packed. I'm going on a virgin site.
Do what?
I saw this. Yeah, I saw this when I was on my way to a meeting the other day. And I was driving by the bay of Green Bay, and there's an old supper club there that's been around since the 1900s, and it's torn down. Not only is it torn down, the thing is scraped a good 10 inches. So it's just perfect digging. I don't know how to say it.
They basically scraped off enough dirt that the old stuff is still going to be in there, but the new stuff is going to be gone.
Correct. I couldn't have said it better myself. So that's what I'm going to do right after this, and so I got that going for me. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And I've been looking for sites for a long time in the past couple of weeks, so I've really been keeping my eyes open, and I found a lot of really cool sites, and I'm going to hammer this one by myself to see if there's anything in there. And if I do find a couple things, I might invite some of the GDA members to come along and see what else we can find there.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So how's it been going with you, bud?
I've had a really good week as well. I got a message from one of my friends this week. He's with the volunteer fire department in a small town here in Germany, and so he kept telling me, I work with him also, and so he kept telling me, I'm going to talk to the mayor of our town. Ask him if he can come out metal detecting, and I was like, whatever, you keep saying that. This is now week 3, week 4. And then finally, I think it was Thursday, he sent me a message. He's like, the mayor said just gave you permission not only to metal detect our town, but he's also talked to 3 other mayors, so you have permission to metal detect the land that belongs to the towns, and it's probably a good 50 square miles worth of land.
Wow. So, okay, so you... Is it legal in Germany, or are you?
Okay, Germany's a little bit complicated. Each one of the states in Germany. I live in Bavaria. It's completely legal. The same thing, like when you get up to Berlin area, like with the same places where Deep Digger Dan metal detects. It's all completely legal. But there are some states like Hessen. I believe it's Hessen, where it is illegal to metal detect. And each one of the states has their own thought process on it. The former East German states, it's usually illegal to metal detect because of all the training that the communist bloc and the East Germans did in that area at the time. There's a lot of live munitions still laying around. So they're worried about people finding it, which... to me is
it's a safety precaution. Well, isn't it? Safety? Yeah, safety first, always alert, nobody hurt.
Yeah, aren't explosives all encased in metal anyway?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not up on explosive land. So
I just always thought it was kind of a funny thing to do, tell us that we can't metal detect when we got the perfect tool to find all these things to clear them out.
Right. It costs us $5. You get a permit. I don't even know why they even charge us $5. Nobody really cares. The police don't care. Actually, they'll stop you every once in a while and, hey, what'd you find? So we just, as long as it's not DNR land or, public or not public land, but private land, we're good over here.
Yeah, and that's the same thing it is over here. We can metal detect on government-owned land without permission. I prefer to personally get permission from the local areas, just like I try and do it with the city here where I live or these two towns, so that I have the written permission, that I know I'm doing everything right. And you also have to have permission from the landowners over here to metal detect, just like anywhere else. The different rule is that anything found over here in Germany or in Bavaria, where I live, if you find anything that's worth any kind of money, 50% of it belongs to the landowner. Automatically, 50% of it belongs to the finder. And then also, the person who metal detects on somebody's land also has to give them first chance to take or keep any of the items that are found.
Wow. Here it's 100% is to the finder, and to the loser, Florida University, bud. Anyway, hey, I got a question for you. I don't remember last week we did that live video dig with digger dudes at that farmhouse.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble with my phone camera pointing it in the right directions. Now, when I was filming myself, I could see right in and see, but when I turned the camera, my aim was off. So, is there a way where I could switch the video feed to not only look, I'm looking at it and I'm talking to it and I could see my face, but then switch it so I can keep it at the same position but film something else so I could see what I'm filming?
Yeah, well,
you know
what I'll do is I'll go ahead and, the thing is, I'm going to actually do this while we're talking. So anybody that's on Facebook right now can actually sit here and watch me actually doing this. So you can watch me actually filming this, doing this. So, hello, everybody. What it's doing now is that the camera is facing me. I'm holding the camera where I can look at the screen. I see my little, on the top left of it, it says live and it's counting up. On the right hand side, on the very top, there's two arrows that are pointing left and right. You press that button and then it'll automatically switch it. So now everybody that's watching it is looking at my computer screen. Now I press it again. Now there's a probably a second and a half lag time. So you press it again and it'll flip the cameras again. And now they're looking at my ugly mug again. So
wow, okay, that's why we have this. You are the GDA nerd. That's why I'm glad I know you. I know you like Star Wars and all that, but when it comes to technical stuff, Lance is the man. So I'm glad about that. Hey, Lance, do we got that question of the week? We haven't talked about that. We got yeah. Let's do the question of the week. We haven't any.
Sorry about that. That was for some reason now in the last week. Every time you get done doing a live feed, it's playing it back to you automatically. I got the question of the week coming up right now. Just a second. Where is it?
Right. Not right this now, but
yeah,
the next now. The next now. Don't you love a live broadcast?
Yeah,
It might even be the third now with Lance. I just gave you a compliment that you're the greatest nerd alive, and you can't even do that.
No, I can't even read I can't read all the tags that I placed on our theme song, so I can't figure it out.
You're making me look bad.
All right, here we go. The question of the week, I tried to reach out to a couple of you guys to see if we can find somebody who could actually answer what I thought is a very good question. The question of the week came from Jerry Olson, and he wanted to know, what is the most out of place and unexpected item that you have ever found metal detecting? As an example, you were detecting a new built home, but you found Civil War relics on the site. I think it's actually a pretty good question.
Wait a second. You're at a new home, but you found what? Say that again.
Civil War, as an example. Yeah.
Okay. Civil War.
Civil War, and I'm not talking about the new Captain America movie.
Okay. Yeah. Very good question. Very good. Give it a 7. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. I was expecting to get a lot more people to answer this one, and it just kind of really shocked me. It just
You know what? Everybody's out metal detecting right now, so
it is that time of the year. Spring's coming.
Well, next week we actually have a little prize to give away for the question of the week. Maybe that'll bring more people in.
Maybe
because they're looking for a free bit. Yeah, but we're so generously donated from a man in our group. His name is Stephen Padley. He's from Wolverhampton, the UK. He's the inventor of the Draper Mini Shovel Hook. And you could check that out right now on eBay. Just type in Draper, Draper, Mini, Mini, Shovel Hook. It's 4 words there. Very small, so it should be easy to type in. And you can see what I'm talking about there. We'll give that away next week on our question of the week. But right now, I want to talk about some great things happening at GDA.
Ah, yeah. We got some big news this week.
GDA news and what's happening. Do I get some theme music for that?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yeah,
cool. Let's put that on there.
There you go. The news theme is going.
Oh, cool. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Cut. All right. Here we go. I think it's enough. All right. GDA news. Guess what's happening, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen? Late summer, early fall. Yes. The GDA store will be opened. And you're going to say, well, what's the GDA store?
What is the GDA store?
Thank you. The GDA store will have a ton of paraphernalia related to GDA. We're going to have a clothing line with gloves, hats, shirts, and not just the T-shirts. We're going to have the really nice polo shirts with the GDA logo, your name embroidered, your AKA name embroidered. So we'll have a nice clothesline there. We're going to have, you can get your patches there. You can get your decals there. We're going to have the black ADA shovels available there, and the MFH field tool bags available there, and plus a lot more. So we'll be looking for that in late summer, early fall, I would say.
Yep.
Secondly, our podcast is going to go live video stream. That's right. You're going to be able to see our ugly faces live. Now, Lance, we're going to do both, right? We're also going to have the live video. Yeah, why don't you explain that?
That's the point. Yeah, what we want to do is we want to give people something that they could actually watch as a podcast, which the video podcast and the audio podcast. Right now, we're still weighing the options if we want to do a separate one that's an audio podcast and a separate one that's a video podcast. The video podcast is going to be more like a news show where we talk about stuff that we saw on Facebook, talk about people's videos and finds that they found. When the audio podcast is more going to be interviewing and talking with people and getting to know metal detectors from around the world. So it's still in the works. Everything's still going forward with this one, and it looks like it. I can't give a date. We have a general idea when we want to start it, but we'll have to see exactly when we can do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking by the end of the season, hunting season, we should have that up and going. And last but not least, did you ever hear of the GDA network, Lance?
Do what?
You made it up, so I know you. I know you've heard of it. Why don't you explain the GDA network to everybody?
Well, this is the thing. The podcast, Global Detection Adventures, the podcast. We not only pay for the ability to record and host our own podcasts and have everybody be able to download them. We now also have the ability to host up to 50 different shows. That means we could have 50 people providing podcasts to us that we will host and allow people around the world to listen to. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to reach out to everybody out there, anybody who's listening to this. If you have an idea for a podcast that's treasure hunting, gold prospecting, metal detecting, whatever it is you want to do. It doesn't even have to be related to metal detecting. If you want to talk about movies, like one of mine that is in the shoot at the moment that me and my cousin are working on, if you want to talk about movies, feel free to do it. You have complete and total control over everything. It is your show. You can do what you want to do. We try to keep it family friendly, but we will host it, and you don't have to worry about sharing it or anything else. It gets taken care of by the GDA network itself.
Yeah, so then when you guys are on a long trip and you want to listen to the GDA network and you're just sick and tired of listening to Lance and Dave, bam, you go to the next podcast, and there you are.
Exactly.
You can listen to a different show, one after the other. So now it's not going to be that easy. We're not going to have some the amateur podcast come in here, although you don't have to be professional like us.
This isn't some cable access television show like some people used to do.
No, what we need to have something different, something interesting, with a little bit of pizzazz. So if you have any ideas, you can PM us and let us know. Maybe shoot us over a little demo or something of what you want to talk about, and then we can put you right into a time slot. So
anybody can shoot us. Just let me know on a PM that you have a demo. I will give you my email address. You shoot me a demo. Let's say make a 5-10 minute demo and let me know exactly how it's going to hear, and we can go through and check it out and see exactly if this is something that we want to bring in, or if it's a good idea, or we can give even our criticism or some ideas that might actually help increase the audience retention.
Lastly, the GDA patches, they've been ordered and they're on their way. So everybody who's been waiting for them, I should have them in 10 days. That's what they said. And I'm also getting decals made up for windows, cars, and trucks, whatever, GDA decals and things like that. And we're also working on a new design for the GDA logo just for T-shirts. It's going to be a little bit more edgy, should I say.
Yeah, you and I are kind of going over this. We're shooting stuff back and forth that we could post on it, that we could actually print onto a T-shirt. And it's not going to be like an iron-on. This is going to be a printed directly into the fabric logo.
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. But we're going to need to pay some bills right now. And then when we come back, we're going to have our guest with us, Mr. Jerry King. And Lance, you want to just give a little description before we go to commercial, or do you want to go to commercial and then we'll just bring a little description?
Let's just leave it. Everybody's been reading the post that's been going on Facebook, so they know that Jerry King is a mobility chair bound metal detector, but we'll leave the rest for when we get back. Just to let you know, we got Stephen Ocker coming in right now, and he's giving us a little bit of a plug for our questions of the week. So, all right, Dave, so I'll see you just in a couple minutes.
Alrighty.
The Black ADA question of the week. Help us come up with a fun and interesting set of questions to let listeners answer here in the Facebook group. The submitting name will be mentioned in the top answers and be read live on the show with the name of the person who submitted it.
Oh man, I've been out here metal detecting all day. I finally got the perfect signal, which was probably a gold brick or $1 million in coins, and my spade broke trying to dig the hole. Has this ever happened to you? I'm pretty sure it has. With the Black 88 spades, you will never have that problem again. With reinforced welds and reinforced shafts, the Black 88 digging accessories are one of the best on the market, created by metal detectors for metal detectors. So make sure you visit their website at blackada.com and purchase yourself one of their fantastic digging accessories. Oh wow, this new spade is really tearing up the ground. Thanks, Black ADA. So visit blackada.com. That's blackada.com. The side effects of using the Black 88 spades are included but are not limited to addiction to metal detecting, digging holes easier, finding more relics, creating cleaner plugs, listening to the Global Detection Adventures podcast, making YouTube videos, watching V3I Sweeper episodes, watching Detecting Bavaria with Lance and Black 88. All right, so we're back in. We got with us Mr. Jerry King. Let me give a little quick introduction to Jerry King. Jerry King is a metal detector, but not just any metal detector. He's a mobility chair-bound metal detector. He's an author and a very happily retired ex-worker for CASE. Well, welcome to you, Jerry. Oh, it's a great pleasure to have you here. And I know that your story is a very inspirational one. A lot of people don't really know the entire thing, but your story is extremely, really inspirational. And I think it can reach out to a lot more people if they knew everything that was going on. So you are mobility chair bound. What is it exactly that you... that has you in the wheelchair or mobility chair? Wow. Wow. And
affects people older than the age of 50. In fact, I think the average onset age is around 55 years old. So anybody who thinks that muscular dystrophy is just something that children have, I guess there's a second guess that they can have coming.
you know, this is a live podcast, guys. I need to give you a little heads up. When we came back from commercial, I introduced Jerry, and Jerry gave a really great introduction to what his problem was. And unfortunately, your very able host, Lance, forgot to turn the microphones on for both Dave and Jerry.
Wow. I'm taking that back. Lance, your technical geek award is being stripped. Oh, my lordy.
So I want to go ahead and kind of give a little synopsis of what's going on. Jerry suffers from an extremely rare form of muscular dystrophy that's called inclusion body myositis. Excuse me. So it's an extremely rare form, and it affects the large muscles near the trunk of the body and the smaller muscles furthest away from the trunk of the body. Is that correct?
That's right, Lance.
And it's a very extremely hard to diagnose. And so how long do they think that you might have actually had this before you were actually diagnosed with it?
Well, I was diagnosed in 2007, but I know I had some symptoms of it at least 2 years prior to that, and anybody else who has the same condition, they always say the same too, because it takes a long time to diagnose a difficult disease like I have.
Yeah.
Now, are we talking? He's talking about the small muscles. Like, so are your legs? Are you able to walk at all with your
Well, it's greatly diminishing. I can walk on a hard, flat surface, like a tile or a wood floor. But if I get on any soft surface like a lawn surface or even a plush padded carpeted surface, I'll be down in probably the second step.
now, does this affect? your arms too, or is it just your waist down?
Yep, no, the large muscles, my biceps and that have withered to almost nothing, and that's why if you see, any videos of me trying to push a small, trowel into the ground, I have to use both hands and to lock everything up and basically put my shoulders and the whole upper body behind it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that because it looked like, when you have those two-handed and you were digging, it looked like one arm was weaker than the other. Is there any pain involved, or is it just weakness?
Some people do have pain, and I guess I was just one of the lucky ones that, other than the progressive and muscle deterioration and that, I haven't had too much pain.
So how long have you been metal detecting for?
Well, it's almost 2 years.
Okay, so you were actually in the chair before you even picked up the hobby. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was at the transition period between, I don't want to be in a chair, but and I was learning very quickly that I don't want to fall either because, injuries from a fall can be very serious too.
So you never actually metal detect, just walking around and swinging. You started in the chair. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. Like many of us, the lure of metal detecting comes from another person, and I got interested in metal detecting a couple of years ago by reading a wife of a friend that does do some metal detecting, and they posted some of their treasure finds, and I got talking with them and decided, hey, I'm going to find a way to do this because that's something I think I'd really like to do. So I bought my first detector in the fall of 2014. I live in a homeowners association, a subdivision that has miles of walking paths, and most that lead to the subdivision swimming pool. And living in Wichita, Kansas, where summers are rather hot, you can imagine that the likelihood of mothers giving their children a couple of quarters on hot days to purchase a drink while at the swimming pool is pretty high. And if you know kids, the likelihood that the coins being carried by the kids would get dropped on the way to the pool, and I proved that was correct, and paid for, or more than paid for the quarterly homeowners association fees, just using the coins that I found along the paths on the way to the pool.
Now, let me put it to you this way, Jerry. So far this year, up until I think it was 2 days ago, how many coins have you found this year? Just 2016 until May of this year.
My latest count as of right now is 1,629.
That is insane.
That's a lot of beer money, I tell you right there.
You bet.
So does somebody come with you, or how do you get to these locations?
Well, my bride of 38 years has been so gracious and so kind that she'll take me out to a spot where I want to detect, and she'll drop me off and come back home and come back and pick me up at a predetermined amount of time.
Have you never tried talking her into joining you?
Well, she has come along a few times in that, and in another week or so, her sister and niece will be coming down, and they want to go detecting. So the four of us will probably get out and go together. So
who is Cindy to you? Is that your daughter, wife?
That's my wife.
That's your wife. Yeah, she's just joined GDA, so she's a member now. Okay, so you got this wheelchair. It's a modified electric chair. What kind of modifications are we talking about to the chair itself that makes it ready for metal detecting?
Well, I just want to know about the chair. I know something about the detector itself, but can you just tell us about the chair right now, and then we'll get into the detector? Well,
the chair that I use, it's not even one of the more expensive ones. I mean, the expensive wheelchairs nowadays go for between $25,000 and $30,000. This is one that's considerably less than that, and it's got the larger front and rear tires on, made by Hartway, and it's a model CEO P25, I believe, and it's got a 14-inch tires on the back and 10-inch tires on the front, so it goes across the grass surfaces pretty well. At first, when I started using it, I had problems because my arms were so weak that my outings were short because I couldn't hold and swing the detector very well. So the other thing is that the footrests were interfering with not only the swing but also the coil was picking up on the steel in the footrest. So luckily that Heartway chair has a elevating seat on it and also has removable footrest. So what I can do is I raise it up about 6 inches or so and put my feet on top of the brackets or the frame that are above the front wheels, and so that way I can get rid of the detector picking up on the footrest.
And it also gives you a slightly better angle for getting your spade into the ground, correct?
Right. Yeah. And the second thing was where I removed the footrest from. There's a socket there, tube you might want to say, that I was able to mount a support to put my metal detector on, and I could pivot it, and where before I couldn't swing for more than probably 5-6 minutes, I can go out there now and swing for 3-4 hours and not even be tired.
So that's like your arm strength right there as the pivot. So all you need to do is actually go to side with it instead of actually carrying the weight of it. Correct?
Exactly. Yep.
And the
seat.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The seat on my chair also, it goes down to 19 inches above ground level, so that's relatively low, where I can bend over the front and use my my hand pinpointer and hope that the target is in the top 3 or 4 inches, that I can find it and get a dig and get it pulled out of the ground, but the seat on the chair also has another nice feature, that it goes up high enough that on Sundays when I want to go watch the Packers play at the local establishment, I can get up to pump table height and be with everybody else. So
now this is chair
Packers boys.
Does this seat go up and down, or do you have it? You have to adjust it before you go metal detecting. Or is it
electronically goes up and down? It goes as low as 19, and I think as high as like 26 inches.
That's fantastic. So you can really block the people behind you in the stadium.
Right. Yeah.
Now I know that you have an alteration to your metal detector. What metal detector do you actually use?
I have a Garrett AT Pro.
Okay. Now, you have on your Garrett AT Pro an alteration that allows you to more easily metal detect in the chair. Now, I'd like to give you a hit on this. You got to remember, this is an electric mobility chair, so there's a large EM field that's coming off your chair from both motors as you move. The second thing is there's a ton of metal in this chair. So what is the one thing that helps your metal detector with you in the chair?
Well, yeah, not only the things that you mentioned, but also there's two Group 24 12-volt batteries that are mounted on the lower front side of the chair. So that's another, energy source that has to be considered. But I worked with Anderson detector shafts, and they supplied me with a slightly longer, and I'm saying I only gained about 3 inches, but it was the 3 inches that I needed to get the coil further away from all the electronics on the chair. And I could probably go a little bit longer, but the coil cable only allows it to be so far away from the detector. So by not coiling the cable around the shaft, like most people have to do, I run it straight down and just have a single piece of tape down at the bottom to secure it to the shaft.
Yeah, I noticed the electrical tape that was on your shaft. Now the great thing that I love about this is that, something like this, they have never created something like this before for anybody that was in a mobility chair, correct?
I'm not aware of any, no.
And then also your pivot that you have on your chair, it's not been created for anybody, correct?
No, that's something that I made out in my garage by myself. The socket that the footrests fit into, inside of it have a steel contact that supplies 24 volts to the electrically adjustable foot or leg rests. So there's electricity in there, so it's not just something I could take a piece of steel or a piece of conduit and shove down in there, because I'd probably blow something up or blow the batteries or short something out. So what I did is I got a 3/4 inch oak dowel and drilled a hole in it to fit over that that contact, and then use that as my riser. And above that I've got another offset piece that supports a yoke that the detector fits into. And the importance of the offset is that when I bend over or something like that, I can move the whole detector out of my way and give me more room for bending over the front of my chair and digging in the ground.
I just find this so amazing. A lot of people, they look at this hobby and they're like, no, I'm in a situation, I have something that prohibits me from being able to do it. You took this as an opportunity to say, you know what, forget that. I'm going to not only do this, I'm going to create my way to do this that works for anybody that's in my exact same position. So basically, everything that you've created is now an inspiration for anybody that's out there. There's no more, I can't do that.
That's true. I sort of like to define disability by each letter of the word, with the very first letter, D, is determination, or the resolution, will, power, and strength of character. And second letter is intensity. That's the mental strength and the mental power that you need for detecting, even if you don't have the physical strength.
Yeah.
The S in disability is strength of mind, and is probably the most important one, because it's you must be able to emerge from failure without losing confidence, and that's the same with any detector. I mean, there's no detector out there that doesn't get disappointed when he digs a bottle cap or a piece of aluminum or something like that, and you can't quit. You gotta go on from there. The A in disability is a strong desire to do or achieve something, typically requiring determination and often hard work. The B is brotherhood. I think we all belong to an association of men and women that comprise of friends or group members or club members, all united for common purposes. And in the disability community, we also have that. Other people with the same disease. We talk all together about, hey, what's the easier or better way of accomplishing something that normal people can do that you can no longer do.
Yeah, exactly. Just like our group.
Yep, exactly. The L in disability is, I label that for a liability, or the state of being responsible for something, especially by law, and respect for other people's property. The second I is imagination, and I guess that's something that we all have to have in metal detecting. It helps make knowledge fundamental to integrating experience in the learning process. I mean, how many times or how many hours does it take us to really learn our metal detectors to get the most out of it? And in my case, man, I really had to learn mine, because every bottle cap that I pick up instead of a coin is a lot of wasted effort and time that I don't have. The T in disability is tenacity, or the persistence, determination, the perseverance to stay at it. I went from being able to hold a metal detector and work with it for about 5 minutes, and like I say, I can go 3, 5, 6 hours now on my chair and hang in with with the best of them. And the Y in disability is yearning, a feeling of intense longing for something. For some of us detectorists, it might be finding some gold or silver, and others of us rejoice just finding a weak penny, and some of us just enjoy being able to enjoy the great outdoors that God has provided to us.
Coming from a true writer, that's brilliant right there.
That is fantastic stuff.
So you're from Wisconsin originally, correct? You're from
the
Wausau area?
That's correct. Yep.
And you're living now in Wichita, Kansas.
That's correct. Yeah.
Do you ever see the Tin Man or the Lion or the Scarecrow around there? No,
no. In fact, I've been here since since 1995, and I've yet to see a tornado. And I think I read about as many of them up in Wisconsin as I hear about down here.
Do you have any? What type of places do you hunt at? Besides just parks or old sites?
Well, different than everybody else. I can't just go out and search on a map and find an old homestead out in the boonies. Because of my restrictions of being in a chair. I've got a approximate 3-inch height between the bottom of my chair and the ground surface, and it sort of limits me on how rugged the terrain I can maneuver over. And as you can imagine, it's probably nothing worse than being immobile, alone, and having your wheelchair stuck on a soft surface that if you stand up from, you're going to end up falling and poking your eye out. So.
Yeah. So most of the sites you're just basically grabbing clad. You're not or expendables, but you haven't really actually hit silver yet. Is that correct?
Well, that's true. And you have to ask yourself, how deep could anybody dig when you're limited to sitting on a 19-inch high chair and had zero leg strength. For the most part, I only dig targets in the top 4 or 5 inches of earth, and that explains why I dig so many clad coins and not pull out any silvers.
Would it be easier to use one of the shovels, the smaller shovels, spades with the T bar instead of the trowel itself?
Well, until recently, my digging was limited to the top, 3 to 5 inches or so, and with the help of a shovel that I received from a Facebook guy by the name of Chris Agar and the shovel builder Jason Olson, they sent me a shovel that works pretty well with my chair. In that, when I find an object that with my detector, but I can't pick up with my pinpointer, and I know it's more than 4 inches deep, I can set the shovel up and raise my chair up and prop the T-handle underneath the angle iron on the front of my chair that supports the seat. And then I'll sort of lean forward and lower the chair seat down and wiggle at the same time, push, and the chair and my weight helps push the shovel into the ground. And when I get it in about as deep as I want to go, I raise the chair up and back up and lower the chair back down to the lowest thing. And then because I don't have much hand strength to grab the shovel with, I wrap my arms around the shovel and use my back muscles to pull the shovel back and hopefully pop the clump of dirt out of the ground that includes the target that I'm going after. And
that's
with my pinpointer and the target's not in the plug, I go at it again and try to grab another a couple 2, 3, 4 inches of dirt in the hole and go through the same gyration again.
Wow, that's determination. Now you're doing all this, and you're actually filming all this at the same time with your camera. I mean, how can you be? For me, it's myself. I'll go out, and it's like I don't want to bring the camera out. I don't want to bring my GoPro out at once because to me it's like I don't really want to. I just want to go metal detecting. But now you're doing all this. You're manipulating the shovel and you're filming at the same time. How do you manage the filming of your videos?
Not very well.
Well, they look pretty good to me.
Yeah, the videos are fantastic.
Well, as much detecting as I've done, and I've got like 180 hours of detecting done this year. I think I've only put together a couple of videos, and that because it is difficult. I've got so darn much other stuff to do. Digging up a coin or locating and digging up a coin and controlling not only the forward and backward progress of the chair and the positioning of the chair and the height of the seat and whatnot. That a camera just adds another dimension to the whole saga. So, but I have been able to put a couple together. The one was a dig that I had a couple of weeks ago during some 50-mile-an-hour winds when I could barely keep the cap and my headphones on my head because of the wind. And
yeah, I saw that.
In fact, I had to cover up the whole video with music basically because the wind was so bad at the camera.
And now, Jerry, you do have a YouTube channel. What is the name of your YouTube channel so that people can go and visit? People like Sarah Garrett, she really wants to know where that's at.
Well, that's I call it that power chair detecting guy.
That power chair detecting guy.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of the people in our neighborhood and at the parks and that I go to and whatnot, they don't know my name or where I live or anything like that, but they say, oh, there's that power chair detecting guy. So that's sort of the label I've kept.
I'll go ahead and share that link right now on our Facebook group. Dave, you got another
yeah, sure. Okay. So the chair, you have some modifications. What would you like to have on the chair that would help you the most? Something that you've thought of or something that you wanted to add to it that would help you?
Well, if I could design a backhoe for the front of it, that would sure be nice.
Backhoe? You must just turn your wheelchair into a backhoe. That's
there we go. Yeah.
So
no, to me I'm happy with the process and the procedure that I have, using what I've developed in that, and now it's just being able to stay on the chair, not fall off, because you can imagine. Once I'm down, that's one thing about this disease. I cannot get up from a seated position, or I cannot get up, if I fall on the ground. And weighing 185 pounds, it's not just something I can, grab onto my chair and pull myself up because I don't have the arm strength and I've got nothing in my legs to help me do that. So. The main thing is just that I stay upright in the chair, and if I go on sites that have are gently rolling hills or something like that, I have a seat belt on my chair that will physically hold me in place on the chair, so I don't tip over the front when I'm reaching probably a little further than what I should.
Yeah. What kind of provisions do you bring with you when you're out there?
I've got an old World War II gas mask bag with a long strap on that I attached to my left hand armrest, and in it I have my little Lesh digger that I did modify a little bit and put a larger handle on it, which is actually a motorcycle hand grip. That is better than the red plastic handle that Lesh provides on their standard hand digger. And then I pop my Pro Pointer AT pin pointer in there, and that's also the bag that I put my trash in that I find And I've got another bag that I have a little flip top container that I put my coins or my jewelry finds into, and one thing I do different, I watch a lot of videos when I'm home, and everybody's got their different ways of cleaning coins out in the field, and they like to be able to show it. And I don't take the time to clean and examine my coins in the field. I grab them dirty, throw them in that container, and I don't clean them until I get home because I value each minute out in the field so much. I get enough home time that I can clean them and log them in my spreadsheet log and go from there.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get some silver in the near future. I mean, over 1,600 coins, you're due.
That's unbelievable, man.
And if I have to come to Kansas and just put one in there for you, I'm going to do it. But I think you're definitely due for a silver coin. So I'm going to send you some karma.
Patrick White, he'll come out there and bury one there for you, just so you can find it.
There we go. I've got another friend that's a retired state trooper that about every 2 weeks will come and grab the keys to my ramp van, and he and I will go out. And he did treat me to a trip out to western Kansas on a 25,000 acre permission that he has.
Wow.
And on that permission is an old military outpost from that was up just for a couple of years around 1865. That was a stopover between Fort Dodge, Kansas, and Fort Supply, Oklahoma. And Keith Harris is his name, and I really enjoy the time that he and I have together. And we went out there, and we between the two of us picked up about a half a dozen 3-ring bullets and a bunch of other miscellaneous metal, and lots of nails of all the various different sizes. And we started heading up one of the old trails that, believe it or not, is still visible, leading up to the fort. And we started going up this pretty steep hill, and I looked at the battery indicator on my wheelchair, and it was past the halfway mark. And I said, I think we better not do this anymore. So that was the end of that day. But we spent about 5 hours on that location, and I just really thoroughly enjoyed that. And hopefully him and I will head out there again this summer.
There's really no limit to what you're doing. You're going out to places that, even some people who have full mobility would kind of think twice about it. I mean, if I hear 25,000 acres, you know what I think? Yeah, I don't know if I have the time for that. But you're going out there in a mobility chair with your metal detector and going out there and just going through it. It's just unbelievable. I have the utmost respect for you and your drive and will and determination.
Yeah, the main thing is, I wish I had wider tires, and there's a lot of fancy rough terrain chairs available, but most of them are not compatible with going into a ramp van, which I need for transportation. So I'm limited to the width of the chair that I can use, but I make do with what I have. That's for sure.
Well, what we're going to do is right now I'm going to give a shout out to all our GDA members and everybody who's not a GDA member but listening to the podcast here. Jerry's a great inspiration to anybody who's not only dealing with his symptoms and his disease, but also his machinery that he's using and his wheelchair that he's using to get around. I'd like to, and anybody that could, help him out with ideas or things to make his wheelchair more accessible to more rougher terrain. Please PM us, and we'll definitely forward that on to Jerry, to help out and let's see if we can build this some power chair, and maybe we can actually get a backhoe put on that thing for you.
Yeah, maybe we can get a backhoe, some monster truck tires. We'll get some stuff on there for you.
Yeah. That all sounds good, but I think we all know in reality none of that is probably possible with the limitations of the van, and I'm not sure how many parks that would appreciate if they see a power chair with a excavator on the front of it.
Well,
I'd like
I'm
to
glad
give you a comment real quick that came in from actually our brother admin on the GDA group, Robert Hope, or Bob Hope as everybody knows him. He wants me to tell you, well done on overcoming your disability, Jerry, and you are an inspiration to metal detecting.
Well, thank you, Bob, and I appreciate that. And if I could, I'd like to give a special shout out to my wife and caregiver, Cindy, for her caring love and understanding, and having a spouse with an irreversible condition, and just really totally want to thank her for transporting me sometimes on a daily basis to and from my detecting spots around town, and all the rest of the kind things and the care that she provides for me.
Well, tomorrow is a special day, so you might as well go ahead and wish her what goes on today, and maybe she can hear it tomorrow.
Okay, yep. She's a mother to two fantastic kids, David and Laura, and I'm sure she'll be hearing from both of them tomorrow, and wish all the rest of the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day tomorrow.
Well, right. Jerry, it's an inspiration. You are somebody that can speak to not only the people that are metal detecting now, but people who had thought that they couldn't do it. You've breached that boundary, and you prove that it is possible for everybody to come out and enjoy the hobby. And I truly appreciate and admire you for that.
Well, I appreciate the time to tell my story, and I've been approached by other elderly folks and other people in power chairs and questioned, and I offer any of my pre-learned knowledge on how to be able to go metal detecting, even if you're in unfortunate case of being in a power chair.
Yeah.
So if anybody wanted to get a hold of you or talk to you about this, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can probably reach me on Facebook under Jerry King, Jerry with a J. King is the last name, or they can email me at wisoak, wis as in Wisconsin, WISOAK, oak as in the tree, wisoak at AOL.com.
That's great.
Fantastic.
Well, Jerry, I'm really glad that we got to speak to you. I remember I saw some of your stuff months back, and I was trying to get a hold of you, and we finally touched base, and I'm really glad we did, and I'm glad you're a member of Global Detection Adventures, and I'm looking forward to many more videos, and I also want to thank your wife, Cindy. She's joined. She's a new member now, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of your videos in the near future.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for all you do for the metal detecting. I know there's a lot of work, not only with the podcast, but all of your other metal detecting initiatives that you have going too, and really appreciate it.
Wow. We do what we can. We're just trying to help spread the love. But you're an inspiration to people, and that should be something that needs to be recognized.
All right, if anybody else has any more questions for Jerry King, you can also send them right now to our Facebook page under the podcast, and we'll forward them on to Jerry, or Jerry can just pick them up when he comes and visits our site. Or you can PM Lance or myself if you guys have any ideas or ways to help his metal detecting ventures more comfortable. And again, I want to thank Jerry King for being on our show this week, and hopefully we'll get to speak to him again in the near future, and we'll see how he's doing and how he's managing, and maybe we'll see some a new chair or some accessories that he'll put on that chair, and we can update you on that.
Alan, if I ever get that first silver, you'll be able to hear the rejoicing all the way to Germany.
Yeah, I'll probably hear the screaming right over here.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that. As soon as you get that, man, you know where to send it.
Alrighty.
All right, you have a good evening.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was Jerry King and inspiration.
Absolutely.
Determination is, to me, is the key there. I mean, what he's just. Did you hear him explaining how he uses his digger to just dig a hole for like? It was just amazing how he manipulates the chair and uses all the different pressure points, and it's like, oh man, I just like if I had to do that, I don't know if I would have the will to do that.
Yeah,
but this guy is just amazing.
That's the thing that I find so amazing about him. Most people would just kind of give up at a point, but he's overcome it. He's adapted. He's adapted his chair to even help him metal detect. It's amazing.
And when he told me about that digger and how he props it up under his seat and lifts up and pushes down, it's like, and then he's filming at the same time. It's like, oh man, and now I feel like a weakling myself just hearing how he manages. But that was just great to talk to him.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I hope that people out there listening to this, they can realize, maybe they're disabled and they're watching, TV shows like Diggers with our friend KG or a couple other people out there. But just because you're disabled doesn't mean that you have to give it up. You have to be able to learn, adapt, and overcome. And that's exactly what he's done.
That's Marine talk, man. You're not in the Marines, are you?
I was in the Army. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. That wraps it up for Jerry. You got any? Let's see. Do we have any questions there on the Facebook page before we move on here?
No. I think we're all caught up.
Okay. I'm gonna just give a little bit of update. In the last hour, I've been getting messages from Steve Laflamme, F-L-A-M-M, and he's been dying to find something really great that I can mention on the show today. And he's been at 3 permissions so far, and all he can come up with is a couple wheat pennies. And now he's working on his 4th permission. And so... and if you see some of his posts, he's got some really great finds. He just found a half-seated dime the other day, and that was a great find. And I said, all right, well, go out in the field today, and he's out with his buddy, and let's see what you can bring in, and I'll mention it on the show. So all he's got so far is a button and a couple wheat pennies, and he's digging some older homes. So, Steve, don't let me down. You still have about 2 minutes. Anyways, that's enough of him.
Well, I want to give a big shout out to the 30 people who are listening to us live right now. I know it doesn't sound like a lot of people. It's a live show. Me and Dave, we both know that our show isn't really the live show. It's the show that comes after it. That's the downloads through iTunes and everything else that gives us really the people are listening to later on when they're driving to work or whatever. So a big thank you for all the 30 of you. And
we how many followers are we? There's over a good chunk over 2,000 followers right now.
We have 2,340 followers
on watching the podcast in the last couple weeks. So
listen to us live or download our show each week.
Before we go, first thing is first. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there tomorrow, and that's in the United States. Now, do they celebrate Mother's Day in Europe and?
The exact same day. The only thing that's different is Father's Day was this last Thursday, so we had a day off from work. But Mother's Day is the exact same day as it is in the United States.
So happy Mother's Day to my Mom Dina Talley in Buffalo, New York, and to my wife Diane. Happy Mother's Day. And I also want to thank Stephen A., the man with the hat, Stephen Ocker.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to him.
For his great voiceover work on the show today. It's brilliant. You did a great job, Stephen, and I really appreciate it.
Well, Well, I'd like to go
plus-
ahead and kind of interrupt you right there. I want to go ahead and anybody who subscribes to Stephen Ocker on his video channels, they know that something has happened where he's unable to post any kind of external links or anything else on his videos. Please, listen to us. I'm posting his advertisements at the beginning of the show. Go to his YouTube channel, click on subscribe, click on like. The reason for this is because Stephen Ocker has a charity that he's raising for cancer research. He needs as many people clicking on subscribe and like as possible so he can raise £50,000 for cancer research. So please go see Stephen Ocker, the man with the hat, and check him out, subscribe and like, and help us help him get some people and some backing to help get that £50,000 British pounds for cancer research.
Yeah, this guy is an innovator, and I told him before I really like his style because he's always seems to be one step ahead of everything when it comes to technology. And he was doing something really great on YouTube, and I think he's going to be doing that with you too, Lance. Where he'll challenge somebody to a fines war. Basically, he'll go out and see what he can get, and you'll go out. He'll challenge another YouTuber or metal detectorist, and they'll go out and see what they can find, and then they'll pit their finds against each other, their best find of the day.
Yep.
And then you can actually, it's interactive. You can actually vote for the best find. Now I know he was doing it on YouTube. But what, now he's in like a new YouTube jail because of something? I don't understand.
Yeah,
but
it's some whole rigmarole, some kind of legal thing that's, I don't even think it has to deal with anybody in particular. I think it has to deal with YouTube themselves. And I think the problem is they had their bots probably a little too high strung, like the androids in Star Wars. I think they had their batteries a little too charged too much that day, and they started just turning everybody off. And unfortunately, he was caught up in it.
Yeah, well, you got to check out his videos anyways. I've been a subscriber for a long time, and they're very good, and he's, like I said, he's very innovative, and he's always one step ahead of everything that comes out, in the technical field, just like Lance, except for today.
And last week, and the one before that. Hey, it wouldn't be a live show if I didn't mess something up.
Yeah. No, you're great, Lance. And without you, I'd be lost because, I mean, I know some stuff, but yeah, forget about it. This podcast would never gotten off the ground if it wasn't for you. So I really appreciate all the work you do. I'm going out too, and I'm going to be making some videos. I do have a YouTube channel called the V3i Sweeper. I started it last year. I probably have about 25 videos in the can. I really haven't gone out yet this year. I did something small, but those videos will be starting up again, and also I'm going to be doing some live dig feeds like I did last week with other members from our group. I'll be visiting some of the other group members. Probably in a 3 to 5 hour circumference, so I can get there, do a live dig with them, and then have time to get back home without being too burnt out.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing the same thing as long as I have good connectability out there in the middle of nowhere, Germany, with my cell phone. Then I'll be doing the same thing as well.
But that's all the shout-outs for me. Lance,
I got two because of Mother's Day coming up tomorrow. I'm going to give 3 very important shout-outs from me. First and foremost is to my beautiful, loving, caring, and the person who helped me through my PTSD, even to today, my beautiful wife, Antje, also known as Gigi Digger. Hopefully we'll be getting her onto the videos, my Detecting Bavaria with Lance and Black 88 really soon. And then to my 2 mothers. It sounds complicated. If you know me, then you know the reason. My mother, Bernie, who raised me up from a baby, and my mother, Debbie, who gave birth to me back in the 70s, the reason why I'm a hippie baby.
I think you missed the hippies. You're more of a disco boy.
Oh, don't even get me on that one.
All right. Well, from the GDA studios here in Green Bay, I'm Dave D, and out there in Germany land, that's Lance, and we're Global Detection Podcast. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Jerry King and everybody who makes this show possible, and that's all you GDA members. Because it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be GDA.
Yeah, and
thank you.
From me, I want to thank everybody. I want to really actually give a shout out to the guys who created our theme song. Without them, our new theme song would have been completely useless. The name of the band is Free Reign. The song is called McMetal from 1992, and thanks to Adam Reisman for the new theme song. So, from me in Germany and from you, Dave, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of them Packers, we're going to wish you guys happy hunting.
And I'm out of here. My truck is running and ready to go.
Yeah, all right. You get out there.
I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right. Talk to you in 2 weeks, guys. Next guest is going to be Stephen Ocker himself, so we'll see you then. Bye-bye. This has been a production of the GDA Podcast Network.